The ticket to your next meal, to your ticket to the next holiday. It's an easy way to ask for a boost when you're low. And keeping track of everything on the go. The future of money is simple, and it's here. Download the new M-Pesa app today.
Now, the Commission on Revenue Allocation has capped the shareable revenue for counties at 370 billion, citing budget deficits and the national debt in the country as we stand at this particular moment as the reason as to why. Now, the cap for the 2021-2022 financial year was announced this Tuesday by the Commission chairperson, Jane Kiringai, who also cited drought and upcoming general elections as the reason why counties will not receive 380 like they had proposed, but 370. Now, this is Counties in Focus. My name is Brian Amwai, and to discuss this further in studio, I have Endovo Arnold, who is a business and brand strategist, and Edgar Kosgei, public policy analyst. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for making time for this discussion here on Lookup TV, Counties in Focus. Now, remember, you can also get in touch with us on our social media handles at Amwai Brand on Twitter at Lookup TV. The hashtag is Counties in Focus. Now, let's get started. I'll start with you, Edgar.
Yes.
The County Council of Governors wanted 380 billion for the 2021-2022 financial year, but the Control of Budget now says now we are going to cap it at 370 billion instead of 381 as you had earlier suggested because of some of the reasons that I've just mentioned here. What's your take on that?
My take on it is that it's actually a proposal. First, the Commission for Revenue Allocation first makes a proposal to Parliament, and that is its job. It was made so that it can make a proposal. It is not yet law.
Okay.
What is going to be law is what has been passed through the Senate and through the National Assembly. So a proposal has been given on capping of the revenue allocation. Revenue allocation is made on the basis of audited accounts, previous audited accounts that have been saved in the government data.
Okay.
If the previous budget has not been audited, then that is not going to be used as the basis of revenue allocation.
Okay.
So they first propose. After that, it goes to the Senate for now debate to see whether what they have proposed is reasonable, basing on the population quota, basing on the land area, basing on what should be based on.
Okay.
After that, it becomes law. When it's now law, it is passed to the National Assembly. After the National Assembly, it goes to the President for assent.
Okay.
It has not yet gone anywhere. Not yet.
But let's look at, I'm coming to you, let's look at some of the reasons that they have cited as now we are capping it at 370 billion. They say what we've had, COVID-19 pandemic and the national debt. What do you make of that?
You know, the reason notwithstanding, at the end of the day, when we are coming up, this is still a conversation. Okay. And as my colleague has said, that there will be a debate in the National Assembly. We'll talk about these things. As you know, this is just the initial stage of the budget making process. But what I can tell you is for sure, I don't think we need to be really looking forward at the revenue, because the problem we have in this country is how we raise the revenue. So as much as we're going to make a lot of noise and talk about we need 381, but the question is, where are we going to get this money? Okay. Now, the governors have defended and said, look at the revenue estimate for the last year, and you look at what KRA was able to collect. Okay. So that means there is growth in it, the revenue collection and so on. But you look at that and we are going into an election year period. There is a lot of wastage that will happen there. There is the issue of security, because when the government, there is transition, there are a lot of things that happen. And therefore, when the CRA is raising the issue of we need to be careful, we are going into the electioneering period, security is an issue. We need to take those ones seriously. Okay. So it's, and then you realize there will be new government coming in place for this county government.
Okay.
Now, we need to be careful so that we do not have wastage by, the 2 months to the election. At that time after, up to August, there will be a lot of money being embezzled and those kind of things. and therefore, I don't think we should increase as much as it's still a proposal.
Okay.
It's a discussion we're having. But I think those issues, let nobody, think that it's just for the sake of, proposing. As much as it's a proposal, I think we should stick to that.
Edgar, let me come to you. Now, the Commission on Revenue Allocation says the projection that the KRA is having is unrealistic, and we cannot depend on that to, now probably allocate more money to the county, because we are looking at this financial year, KRA is going to collect this amount of money, so that let's use that to, do our allocations. Is that justified in terms of just not trusting what KRA is doing because of the previous history that it has had?
Commission for Revenue Allocation works with all kind of government arms. In fact, it is established under the Constitution. I was trying to look into the Constitution to see where the conflict is coming from, because how can you have a body that proposes revenue allocation when the Senate itself also can propose and has to discuss on it? How can you have a commission that is independent and gives direction on revenue allocation? So the Commission for Revenue Allocation works with the Treasury, works with the ministries, works with even the president, and works with Parliament and even county governments to see on how to share this money. It also gives advice to the county governments on how to even spend their money. So when they give an information like that, it means they have sat together, it means they have consulted, or they must be defending another.
Okay.
Because this is the executive, and the executive appointed this commission. So they must be having information, insider information on how to. It is their job, it is their work to consult and to give a shareable revenue. And they have said it is 370. We do not refuse. Unless there's going to be war in the Senate, as usual. We're going to see a showdown, and it was going to prolong. Maybe they're going to start in June, and they're going to end in October, just fighting about 10 billion.
10 billion.
Yes. Yeah, the difference in 10 billion. So we, in terms of support, they support the government. In terms of consultation, they have to consult. The Constitution says so. Yes.
Okay, now let's look at, in terms of this money, because Edgar says they sit together, they sit with the county governments and just try to discuss on how are we going to allocate this money. We looking at what we were able to allocate the last time. Have you been able to spend that very well? So then now the county governments come out and say, we cannot accept whatever you are allocating. We wanted something more. So was there no consultation in between?
We are, when we talk about, and he's telling us that these people sit together. These people, there is politics surrounding resources when you are talking about sharing resources and so on. And you have seen these people come from the same committee. You have seen parliamentarians do the same. And they start saying, this one is not right. And they were in the same meeting. And therefore, even these parastatals and this, there is independence for some of these commission and so on. And therefore, they will always come out and say something different, and then, yet they were in the same. So do not be shocked that. As part of government, sometimes it happens that way. But just on the, when you're talking about the county government saying this is the money we wanted and so on, I think the county government need to start thinking about how do they get their own revenues. How do they source for their own revenues? Because we cannot be only relying on national government to bring the money so that we can share and so on. The county government needs to start thinking, how can we, when we are doing this budget and so on, how can we be able to fund? And that's the discussion we don't usually have. And then when you hear about the debts and so on, you start complaining. But when these budgets are being proposed and so on, you are sharing in that conversation, saying we want this project, we want this to be done, and so on. But we need to start asking ourselves, how are we going to fund? That's the biggest question. When we want 380 billion, where are we getting this money? Because the money is not just somewhere waiting for it to be shared,
Okay.
This is just budget estimate.
All right.
Yeah.
Edgar, they were looking at, the Council of Governors were looking at what the BBI had proposed, and I don't know whether you're a supporter or you do not support that. But what the BBI had proposed, 35%, and saying, okay, when we are looking at that, it is something that can actually be achieved. Let's go with that. What do you make of that?
35% of the budget is $1 trillion. Because we collect close to 1.6 trillion and we borrow close to 1.4 trillion. So we have a budget of around 3 trillion. And 35% of everything is $1 trillion. And you now wonder whether we can be at that level where we use $1 trillion into our county governments. It's a good story. It's a good Cinderella story. But
don't they deserve that? They don't?
Everyone deserves the good thing.
Okay.
You deserve better money. We deserve better things as Kenyans.
Okay.
But what is the reality? The reality is that we are in Nairobi. We are in a certain state of financial plateau somewhere. So let us look at what is real and what can be done and what can't be done. 35% for BBI was a bit high. And the nation was to struggle.
Okay.
The governors usually complain that they have not received the money for 5 months. People have not been paid for the rest of their lives.
And we will see people going on strikes demanding.
Yes. Even Nairobi went on strike a month ago or two. Other counties are going on strike because the collection of revenue and the fact that they are receiving loan at a very slow pace is affecting the counties in itself. So how are we going to help each other if we raise it to even 35%? Okay. For now, let's deal with what we can chew. Let's bite what we can chew. At that percentage, that small percentage, we can share that. And the reason they have given us for not being able to collect revenue is because of maybe the pandemic, the drought, and all those other reasons. Let us be slow in taking things that look good, but they are not really going to help us as a country.
And I just want to jump in because Arnold had mentioned that in terms of how do we then collect this money? Because yes, we should be looking for a way in how counties can be able to generate their own revenue. And also I'll come into the subject of just being able to finance their own budgets because I think the list was released and some of them cannot be able to, what they collect cannot actually finance the budget. What would you say should be the way forward in terms of finding a way in how counties can be able to finance their budget and also just collect revenue that works for the county government?
Well, in my opinion, is that county governments and national governments are two governments running in a country. Nairobi county government runs in Nairobi and the national government runs in Nairobi. If you try to tax your court by the county government, then you will realize it has been taxed by the national government. So there will be double taxation. Look at the matatus, look at the matatus. The matatus are struggling because NTSA comes in to tax them first. After that, they are taxed by the county governments by paying parking fee of 3,800 or 4,000 per month. And then they are taxed on this other side by inspection, and then by the police on the road. So double taxation has been the problem in our counties. When you want to tax, you realize the national government has come first. Secondly, the solution now. If we had resources in our counties that the national government and the county government will share, that would sort this problem. Let me give you an example. In Narok County government, there's Masai Mara. When the tourists go to Narok County government, they pay the revenue from there is split between the national and the county.
Okay.
We can upgrade our counties by building factories or by creating opportunities for jobs for the county government people, for the county government residents, that the profits coming from those ventures will go to the county government and the national government. Otherwise, we are lying to ourselves. Double taxation is happening all over the country.
Okay.
And people are messed up. They're messed up, man.
Let's look at something he mentions, that giving an example of Narok County and Masai Mara. Then there are counties that do not probably have something like that. We don't have as probably something that we can be able to use as revenue generating and also have to share that with the county with the national government. What happens to those counties for me where you sit?
You know, one thing he has talked about is double taxation in this country. That is none. But the question is, where is this money that we are talking about double taxation going?
Okay.
Now, this is where the problem is. You see, I can pay as much as possible, but where is the money going? The issue is we have a system in this country that I can say they have leakage. And we're talking about corruption. We are talking about when you collect money in Nairobi, and that's why you saw the introduction of the parking, the automated parking system and so on. You walk around and you are talking about the Nairobi county collecting from matatus and so on. The amount of money that is collected in Nairobi alone by the county can run this county without even depending
on the national government.
So what we need is we need to be able to have system that can be able, that are free from corruption, that we can be able to protect from these leakages and so on. Number two, you realize most of the time, the system that are used for collecting of taxes and so on, most of them are provided by private sectors. That means they need to get their percentage. That means we pay more of what is required.
Wow.
Are you getting? So these ones are streamlined so that we can have the national government should really be able to come up with, and parliamentarians should come with that, so that they can streamline that collection of taxes and how they are being used, and so that it can be across all the 47 counties. So before we talk about it, there are some counties that do not have resources and so on. We should first of all, because counties are allowed to put taxes like property, entertainment, and those kind of things. What should the county government do? Come up with provide incentives or provide ways where we can be able to do this. So that if we are saying that in this county we can be able to do, we will give incentive if you come and do your, for example, music festivals, whatever, those kind of activities, we'll be able to get taxes. So the county government should come up with ways of encouraging people to pay taxes. But the most important, the money we are collecting right now, we need to streamline our system.
All right.
Once that is done,
we are good to go.
We are good to go.
And Edgar, before I take a break, streamline our systems. We are collecting money, but we have no idea where this money is going. How do we do that? What would you say we do? Because it's something we've been talking about for quite a while. It's something that we always mention, like we should. Now, how do we streamline that?
Brian, the Constitution is a very hidden document, and yet it is the one helping us in our country. The fourth schedule of our Constitution gives the national government functions and the county government functions. When you look at the fourth schedule, it divides. It says that the national government handles such a thing, and the county, let's say the county government handling health. Where does the national government come in terms of health? It has a Ministry of Health. You see, so there is, people have not looked into how to separate the national government's role on health
and the county
government's role on health. The national government comes in to tax your medicine. And that money is going to the national government. The county government is the one running the health. when you have given out a function to the county government, like agriculture, give it out fully so that we can have the county government supporting themselves without depending on the national government. Okay. You realize they come up with something and they say, county government, you're handling betting. And it comes in and takes part of the bet.
All right.
You know?
Yeah.
We should be straight with this, you know. Yes.
Let me take a break here. I think I'm going to, you're going to hold that. I'm going to take a break here on Counties in Focus. You're talking about counties' revenue allocation. Now, how do we, 370 has been allocated. The Commission on Revenue Allocation has capped it at that. The county governments wanted 381 billion shillings. So when we come back, we'll be looking deep into that and also looking at now transition plan for county governments. Where do we go now that you're getting into an electioneering period? This is Counties in Focus.
Like, follow, subscribe, click the notification button. Join the Look Up TV movement now. Want to grow your business? Broadcast your sermon, share birthday wishes, make funeral announcements, produce adverts and documentaries? Then book and advertise with us today by calling us on +254 700 893 542 700 893 542 or email us on sales@look-up.tv.
The future of money is simple, like unlocking possibilities with a smile and having the world in the palm of your hand. It's the ability to touch many lives at the same time and turn your dreams into reality. It's forgetting and still remembering. Simple is having everything that you love in one place. From the ticket to your next meal, to your ticket to the next holiday. It's an easy way to ask for a boost when you're low. And keeping track of everything on the go. The future of money is simple, and it's here. Download the new M-Pesa app today.
Yeah.
Are you looking to turn your passion to purpose? Vera Beauty and Fashion College now brings you online classes at the comfort of your home. We are a TVET-approved institution with over 20 years' experience in training competency-based courses in fashion design and creative arts, cosmetology, hairdressing, beauty therapy, interior design in soft furnishings, event decoration and flower arrangement, hospitality and catering, and training of trainers. To enroll, call us today on 0704 577 577 or visit our website at www.verabeautycollege.com. Vera Beauty and Fashion College, a center of excellence.
Help me identify a beautiful womb. I never came across one till I got to Vera.
This November, a gathering of music ministers from all over East Africa. It's Kenya Music Ministers Conference with Mavo Jokes. Theme: the music, the minister, the mandate. Date: Saturday, November 6, 2021. Time: morning session 9 a.m., evening session 5 p.m. Venue: Tabernacle of Grace City of Hope at City Square House behind Kenya Cinema, Nairobi, Kenya. Also ministering: Jackie Kelvin, Rosemary Njage, Size 8 Reborn, Anthony Musambi, Messalina, Promise Prince, Agusan Sunday, Irene Seeger, and many more.
Hi there, music is beyond the melody, the rhythm, and even the lyrics. Music is spiritual. The gospel in this end time will only travel to the ends of the earth, except on the wings of music. My name is Marvel Jokes. I'm an international music minister, an author, and also a teacher of the word. Do not want to miss this meeting for anything wherever you are. I'll see you in Kenya. God bless you.
This conference will also be aired live on YouTube at Marvel Jokes TV. Do subscribe and connect live.
Please make those payments and take dinner out the freezer. Enjoy your day off.
Hey.
How was your day?
Great.
Did you pay the bills?
Abby did it.
And the plumber?
Abby did it.
Send money to your mom?
Abby did it.
Who's Abby?
Bank on WhatsApp with Abby, your 24/7 digital personal banker. Another digital innovation that gets things done. That's Africanacity. That's ABSA.
Did you take dinner out the freezer?
Like, follow, subscribe, click the notification button. Join the Lookup TV movement now. Now.
Thank you for staying with us here on Counties in Focus. We are talking about counties revenue allocation. In studio, I have Edgar Kosgei, who is a public and policy analyst, and also Arnold, who is a brand and business and brand strategist. Thank you so much. Before we went for a break, we were talking about just how to streamline the system and ensure that we do not, the money that is collected at the county also gets to do the function that is actually designed for. And behind the scenes, you're talking about how do we then streamline these issues. And I just want to bring in something, because one of the reasons that it has been cited as to why we are capping it at 370 billion is because we are getting into an electioneering period, 2022. How do these elections then come in play? What role do they play in this allocation?
You see, there is planning. And when you're planning, you are factoring issues to do. For example, right now you think of pandemic. You are thinking of election period coming. That means people who are going to invest in this country, who are planning to put more investment or more money in it, are going to hold their money. You're going to see, even when people are trading, they are going to be very careful in bringing more goods here, in selling their things. Those are things are going to play. And that means we must expect the economic growth will decline. You like it or not. And therefore, when you put all those factors together, and right now we're already having the issue of public debt, you have to agree with the CRA commissioner that we cannot add money. Let's use what we have. And then we know the wastage that comes with the election period and those kind of things. So that's why you can see the thinking behind that proposal.
All right.
Yeah.
Edgar, Arnold here mentions the public debt, and it has, in 2010, it was 41.4%. It has risen to 69.1%. If we, by any chance, decide to, allocate more money to the counties and give them the 381 billion that they wanted, does that mean we are going to borrow more?
If we borrow more, then what I'm saying is, does it mean we're going to borrow more? Maybe we're going to reduce on the expenditure and allocate that 10 billion on the other side. It doesn't mean that we should borrow more. It will just call for balancing. But we know our government. Our government will borrow and borrow and borrow and inject in projects and ghost projects and projects even that are non-existent. Even if we are going to increase that money, people are going to make excuses to borrow even more. Borrowing is our culture, and that is how we run our country. And our public debt now is at 11 trillion, past the ceiling because of the guarantees that the government has done to the parastatals. The debt that we have is close to 9 trillion, but 2 trillion has been guaranteed to the parastatals. It has gone beyond. And we don't know how we are even going to pay this debt, because when someone was borrowing, they're on a borrowing spree, and our president is going out of his seat after this. And then he leave it to us, the incoming people, to manage this ballooning debt, while we are still focusing on what to give the counties. It is a dire situation in Kenya where someone doesn't care because they are going out. As long as that person is the government. You know, we are the government of the day, and our debt ceiling is 9 trillion, and we are going to spend that, and we are going to go out. How we are going to spend it? We're going to spend it in a way that you will not even discover that we have stolen it. And we are going to go out, and we are going to leave you guys paying for very expensive things that we bought. That we are not supposed to buy, and because we are the government of the day. So it's terrible.
I wanted to use a word that I shouldn't have used on air. Thank God that you have interjected. All right, now let's look at, before I get into the how now transition process, because 2022 is coming and it will be a transitioning period. Let's look at ways in which we can cap this and just have, because I know we mentioned it, but now let's look at these solutions that we seek to be finding for these county governments so that they do not get to depend on the national government. Every now and then we say we want to, you know, fund a particular project, but the money that the national government is giving to us is not enough. We cannot be able to raise this amount of money to be able to fund this particular project as a county. Now, what happens to these counties? Where's the how do we go back to the drawing board and start now re-strategizing again?
Again, it goes back to planning that we keep talking about. You are budgeting for something you're not sure you will get the money. You know, this is now start daydreaming that I'm going to buy a car, and we know your salary. Now, those are not being personal on that. I don't know your salary, but what I'm talking about is this county government need to be very clear in their budgeting process and the estimate. They know how much they can collect. They should not just kind of copy and paste. You know, the national government is already a problem to us. Now, the county government are just copy-pasting what the national government is doing, and they are doing the same. That's the first problem. Now, number two, they should now start encouraging the kind of taxation policies or measures that are encouraging each citizen to, you know, to pay this you know, to pay taxes. For example, you remember there was an issue where one county government just put taxation on when a vehicle passes, for example, it was, I think, a TUI for their sand and those kind of things. Now, what does, you know, affect the economy is on production. Now, you're going to take time there. People are wasting time. They should have gone, like 3 lorries should have gone to Kiambu and come back to take more. They are not doing that. We are still arguing about. So those kind of policies, we need to be very clear on what kind of taxation or measures that we're coming up with. The same with the national government. You should nowadays you wake up and the KRA is on somebody's company and they are following up. They are telling them to pay 9 billion and the whole organization is valued at 2 billion. And you're wondering, where were you?
All this time.
All this time. And therefore, they should come up with ways of encouraging people to pay tax. That's the first one. Now, county government, at no particular time, I don't know, maybe I haven't had, but where the county government are encouraging or are coming up with ways of increasing production. And we can talk about, you know, coming up with ways, how do we create employment in our county? They're not talking about. We are talking about sports. How can sport in this county, you know, be increased? How do we increase entertainment industry in this? You know, we can't just be saying that, you know, entertainment industry, it can really create revenues for these counties. You can't be only thinking, unless somebody, you know, build a factory here, that's it.
Oh, it's not a factory?
you get it. We have to come up with ways, even if that county doesn't have natural resources, but if they encourage that. For example, you know, something to do with infrastructure. If they really focus on infrastructure that can help growth in their counties, that will happen. But the problem is, our counties have become, for them it's just spending. They get money, they spend. You look at how much they even allocate to development, it's less than even 50% of the whole budget. Okay. And that's where the problem is. Right. So we must be very creative in how we are going to create this revenue and be realistic in our budgeting. Right. You don't come up with a...
Living beyond your means.
Yes.
Let me come to you. How finding a solution to this problem that you're having? Every now and then we have to cry to the national government, allocate more revenue to us so that we can be able to do this project here and there. We can be able to, pay our workers and all that. How do we do that?
Do you know why the national government has never been able to push the county governments to the wall to generate their own revenue?
Tell us.
Because they meet somewhere. When the government goes like this to tax, they meet the county government there.
Okay.
So the problem that I was talking about is sharing a product. Let's talk about betting. Betting has been given the county government to deal with it. If you want to do betting in Nairobi, you will have to go to the county government to get your license. Okay. But the national government is coming to ask for taxes from betting. And the national government determines that we are now going to tax you 50%. Thereby pushing that betting farm out of the market. We have seen it happening here and there. Here and there.
We have seen that.
Yes. So they meet somewhere. And if we want to streamline the county governments, we should let the county governments be. We should let them be in terms of handling. If we have given them road and transport, fourth schedule says county roads. And there are national roads for the national government. Public transport. When we have said, let us leave the public transport to the county government, let's mean it. So that when they generate revenue, we can ask them, you generated $1 billion from the matatus. Okay. What is it?
Now, what does that mean then for the national government? If at all we are depending on this one to actually raise revenue to support, which, by the way, our budget is way higher than what we make. So if we leave that alone, then where are we going to get the money?
There's the confusion in the constitution in itself. There's the confusion in the schedule that splits those functions. And we will continue to beg the national government like forever. And the national government will continue having the biggest cake and the county government. The county government should be the one even collecting the lowest of the taxes. KRA should be devolved. So that whatever they are collecting from the counties should be pushed to the national government, not the trickle down model that they are talking about. Okay. It is time that we talk about the bottom up from the counties. I'm not serious. From the counties, let us devolve. Okay. In very developed countries, even police is devolved. Okay. But look at how these people are holding the police close to their chest because of how they can use the police. Or if we devolve the police, then they are going to create a national art form like the FBI. Right. You know, these people are so creative in crippling the county governments. Very creative. We are going to beg the national government forever. All right. These people are keeping 85%. 85! And they're giving them 15, and they're like, you people use that. Shameless.
You have something to say on that?
For me, I'm just thinking, it's just bad behaviors that we have made it a culture. Okay. And when we are talking about all this problem, let me tell you the root cause is in leadership. What kind of leaders are we electing?
But they say the leaders that we elect are the representation of who we are. So, exactly. Are we that?
As somebody says, now, that's where the problem is. Because I'm wondering if KRA knows very well, this is a demarcation. Or the national government knows very well, this is what the law says and this is where what we need to do. Why are we having the problem? That the problem is on implementation. Okay. Because we have bad manners, we will not allow certain things to go, and we are talking about the police. Okay. Because if the police, you have seen even they usually not a confusion, but sometimes you realize the Nairobi city askari is having a problem with even to command traffic alone.
Exactly, yeah.
Even traffic, they have a problem with that. You know why? It's because there is money to embezzle there.
Okay.
But what we need is good manners.
So we have bad manners.
We have bad manners. And that is really affecting in the way we are governing. Okay. Because now when we are talking about, you know, as much as you'll talk about revenue and so on, it goes back to the governance structure. Okay. How are we able to even respect our institution? How are we able to respect the levels of government? And how do we, you know, work jointly? That is it. That's why some people have 85% and they're doing nothing with it, in fact.
They're 85.
85. Okay, now let's look at this because I'm running out of time and I just wanted to touch on this subject and I don't think we are going to have enough time to actually get deeper into it because I have less time here. Transition.
Yes.
Every government, now that you're getting into 2022, and we just mentioned each governor coming to replace another governor, some may be elected, some may be re-elected. So, and counties may not have those plans on, now that my term is over, you're coming in. This is exactly what the plan that I have for this county, if you can continue with it. What is that one of the reasons as to why we do not see development at the county level like quickly?
As I said earlier, leadership reflects the society. So when we start talking bad about leaders, it means we are talking bad about ourselves. And the buck usually stops with the leader of the country or the leader of the county. And I came to look into this thing so critically that how a president behaves or how a county governor behaves is how a county government is going to be run. Okay. If you don't have vision for your county government is doomed. This thing does not depend on the law. It depends on the personality, how you are, how you are built, how you handle things, how you think. There are people who employ professors to come and run a county. Okay. And there are people who employ quacks. And sometimes you have seen that quacks even beat professors in how they are spending their revenue. Okay. So plans for the county depends on the county government boss. Okay. And the outgoing county government boss might have certain plans to implement. He's coming with his own assembly, with his own executive committee, with himself. And maybe they are coming to mess the county.
All right, I'm cutting it. Your word on that as we wind up on this.
There is Vision 2030, and all of us can look at it and see how we can progress towards that. So there is already a blueprint that we can use in development, in managing. You talk about the social aspect, which has not been really been focused on when it comes to Vision 2030. And therefore, the thing is we need to encourage people like other countries where we talk about what is your plan. And then anyone who comes, even it doesn't matter who you elect, but they know there is a plan, it is there. So we need to stop this behavior of mediocrity. Okay. Where we elect, you know this person cannot do the right job, you elect them. Right. You know these people will come up and they will employ quacks and they leave a good person like you and you elect them. So the citizen need also to understand we are the one who can stop these people. So they need to understand that they should not just feel when there is nothing romantic about political promises, by the way. So they need to stick and say, this is, and involve themselves in development agenda. And they say, this is what we need, and this is the direction. Exactly. There is power in the people.
All right, thank you so much. My director is telling me, informing me that I'm out of time. She's actually shouting in my ear to end this. Arnold, Indovo Arnold, business and brand strategist, thank you so much for making time for this show here to discuss about county's revenue allocation. And Edgar Kosgei, who is a public policy analyst. Thank you so much, gentlemen. I really do appreciate your time and just making time for this show here tonight on Lookup TV. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Now we've come to the end of this discussion tonight. That does it for us. us here on Lookup TV, Counties in Focus. Remember, you can also get in touch with us on our social media handles. Keep the conversation going online on how we can actually help the county governments, depend on themselves when it comes to revenue collection or that. My name is Bernard. Have yourselves a lovely night.
Like, follow, subscribe, click the notification button. Join the Lookup TV movement now. We value your feedback and welcome your complaints about our programming and operations. Feel free to get in touch with us through 0700 893 542.